Okay. Tim Teagan,
Present.
Scott Bowman,
Here.
myself is here, Andrew Duke. I
Here.
saw Andrew, Dana Carver,
I is here.
Jay Gillette,
He is here too.
Tori Heinrich,
Here.
Raphael Wolf. I thought I saw Raphael. Is he here?
Yeah, I'm here. Here.
Um, I see Larry Henneman. I guess we're going to officially appoint him in a little bit. Larry Henneman,
Yeah, I'm here.
Larry Johnson, I thought I saw Larry Johnson. Leah Daly,
Present.
Angela Thornton,
Here.
Charles Essner,
Present.
Mike Saliba,
Hello.
Dave Franklin,
How do you do, my fellow libertarians?
Andrew Chatterton,
Present.
Colin Fitzgerald.
Here.
Okay, so we're only missing Larry Johnson.
Perfect. We only lost one to the Super Bowl. All right, now that attendance is through, we can move on to approval of the agenda. Is there any motions to amend it before moving forward? Is yes, Mr. Chatterton? Or Leah Daly? I'm sorry, hands are going up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the agenda just a brief discussion, maybe after officer reports or as part of the membership committee report. There was some concern about a membership, a lifetime membership that was that we can't locate. So I just wanted to add just a brief discussion about how to go about remedying that for the member. So if we can just add that maybe just right after or in the officer reports.
All right, motion to add that into the agenda. Does that have a quick second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Also, aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Any abstentions other than myself? It's added. You could add that in, Ms. Secretary.
Mhm.
All right, anything further on the agenda? All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions other than myself?
Was that Scott? I'm sorry.
Yes, that was.
Yeah, I moved it.
Okay.
All right, agenda is approved. And now we can go on to previous minutes.
Okay. Here we have the ones that I lost in the cyberspace last time. These are from 12/14. Uh, this is when Tim's first meeting and leadership transition to leading an active group. Anyway, you guys have seen these a few different times. Litigation reports, membership committee, Jeff Patel resigning. Fusion voting was most of the meeting, PO box. District 11 rep, Dave Franklin, and then we talked a lot about the convention. An open floor. So it was a busy meeting. We talked about the court case without going into executive session. Anyway, these meeting minutes are really long. I don't want to reread them all to you because you all have copies. We attached the fusion agreement. Does anybody have any questions about it or want to see anything?
Motion to approve the minutes.
So
Is
this
there
would
a
be
second?
December minutes.
We can do them individually real quick.
Yep. Okay.
All right, is there a second
I'll
to that
second.
approval?
I'll second.
Okay.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions other than myself?
I would abstain on those since I wasn't here for them.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Sheridan. Me and Mr. Sheridan abstain. Those minutes are approved. If we can get to last meetings.
Okay, this is the January meeting, the Libby Fest. We talked mostly about, we have a new membership chair. We talked mostly, there's Larry. Libby Fest. Member comments, proposed motion to remove Andrew as Region 1 chair. More on the convention. We voted down the voting software. Talked about the straw poll and all that convention. That's all old business now. Open floor. And that's it.
Any discussion on the minutes or any motion to approve?
So moved.
And
Second.
can I get- Thank you. All right, all in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions other than myself?
I'll abstain
Andrew
again.
Duke, abstain. I wasn't present.
All right, both Andrews do abstain. All right, those minutes are approved. Now we can carry on to next order of business. If you could bring the agenda back up, Miss Secretary.
Yeah, just a second.
No problem.
Trying to catch everything here. Let's see.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Johnson?
Did we just vote on the 12-14 minutes?
No, that was the first set of minutes we approved.
Okay. I apologize for being late, but I did see an error in the 12-14 minutes. Was that fixed?
There was no correction to the 12-14 minutes
Which,
before approval.
Was it a typo or?
Well, I assume it's a typo. It said the chair changed his meeting instead of the chair changed his mind in section 8, paragraph 8.
I mean, I can just change it. I mean, if nobody has any objections, it's just.
Yeah, it's not too vital. It just grabbing the error.
If it's necessary, I'd make a motion to reconsider since I was on the prevailing side.
I would consider it unnecessary for something that small.
This is the
And we
December
got
minutes, Larry?
Yes.
Section 8, okay. I'll catch that later. Plus I got it on the recording, so. Okay, so this is still the agenda. We have officer committee reports next.
All right. As far as chair report, I mean, we had a great last convention. I appreciate everyone who came in attendance. Finished 2 hours early with business, which was quite well done by the body. Other than that, I don't have too much to report other than I did notice before I went to my hotel room, somebody had grabbed the backdrop and banner. So we may have to track those down unless one of y'all have grabbed it. Other than that, that's it from perfect. Thank you, Trevor. I kind of was hoping you had them. All right, that's all I have to
So
report.
Trevor, is that for the minutes? Trevor has them?
Yes, he put it in the chat.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Scotty, you're up next, I believe.
Yeah, I haven't had that much going on with the affiliates other than prior to the last convention, there were some issues with the Jackson Hillsdale affiliate that I think we need to, I don't know, I guess it's on me, need to kind of coach them ahead of the time that they would normally have a county convention. Take them by the hand or something. It was a large affiliate, and apparently now it's down to one or two people. And the last time around, like the chair got ill or something, and it was delayed. And one of our members who lives in the region went to attend a meeting, and there was none there and stuff. So they need some help getting things back together. It was a once thriving affiliate. The other thing is I talked to one person who was inquiring about affiliates, and I realized eventually that, yeah, because I looked things up, and he was in an affiliated area, so that he had a meeting to go to. And then we have a person who I've not yet gotten back with just because of my schedule. I'm going to be calling him tomorrow, named Tom. And I think Roscommon, is Roscommon County unaffiliated? I mean, I could look this up, but I'm just, if anyone happened to know offhand. I think
That is correct. Yeah, it's unaffiliated up there.
Okay. And I think he's interested in forming an affiliate, but I have to get back with him and find out exactly. Thank you, Leah, by the way. To find out what he's got in mind there. And whether, he's got other people besides himself to join in with him on this. I assume there's other libertarians there, whether or not he knows them. And that's about it. There's really nothing else going on as far as affiliates that I'm aware of.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Our second vice chair is still, as of this moment, vacant, so there will be no report there. I believe the next is the secretary report and then treasurer.
Either way, I don't have a report. I have the convention stuff later on.
All right. Then over to you, Mr. Duke.
Since I missed January's meeting, I'll say the P.O. box was renewed for the year before the end of the year. On January 30th, I filed our state and federal filings. And that's it I've got to report.
Can you do you have any money numbers to send me for balances or anything?
Give me 1 minute and I'll give you a total balance. From all three accounts, we have $9,000.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Duke. And then we can move on to committee reports. If you have a report, just raise your hand and I can address you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
If I have one question for the treasurer. Do we have enough in the appropriate account to reimburse Scotty for the Libby Awards expenses?
Gotti, was that under 200?
Thanks for reminding me. I got to go back and look at it. I believe it was.
The answer is yes, though, to your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, any committee reports? I think we would have had one or two at least. Yes, Miss Daly.
Yeah, hi. Sorry for membership report. I thought Mr. Henry would be on the call this evening to give like a official report for membership. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me for a proper membership report, but at this time I can go ahead and have a brief discussion about the matter that I had added to the agenda, unless there was another committee report that wanted to go before this, before I speak on this.
I'm currently not seeing any.
Do you want me to pull up the numbers?
Yeah,
I just got the minutes.
Sure, that'd be great. So, Tori, if you want to do more of the membership report, and then I can go ahead and lead just the brief discussion on some of the kerfuffle that we were having.
Yeah, do you want me to just read off the actual numbers we had?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, looks like we have 318 current members, so we're up 3 from last month. Oh, it says we're up 7 from last month. We did have a member, John Jaskin, pass away. As everybody got that email. We had 10 members lapse and only 1 renewal, so hopefully we've been working on getting some calls to hopefully increase our renewals. I think that's it. We've been having some trouble with Civi, so hopefully we can get that fixed before next month.
All right, duly noted on that. Donna, do you mind muting yourself unless you want me to do that for you? Yeah,
That's not me.
Dana, rather.
Oh.
There we go. All right, Miss Daly, if you want to talk about that lifetime membership problem.
Oh, sure. So, one of the things that we had noticed was that there was a member that had allegedly paid for a lifetime membership, I believe back in 2023. They paid for a lifetime membership. We have no record of the payment for that lifetime membership. And so I wanted to bring this to the board because membership doesn't really know how to pursue it without a little bit of guidance from the board first, like to investigate. Because I believe that I believe that they paid for a lifetime membership. So I was hoping that the board could maybe advise maybe a timeline that we can come up with to investigate this.
Leah, can I interrupt because I have the proof of Frederick Horn that I sent Ryan for the second time today, I think.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he produced his bank statement with a $250 donation. It shows right on there to the Libertarian Party. There's a date and everything on it. So I just sent that to him today. He must have missed it the first time because it was in the middle of the convention stuff. But Frederick did find the bank statement.
Okay, that would be helpful, but we have no record that it was paid to us. So I don't know.
It says Libertarian Party of Michigan.
Because the money never came to us, not through any of our records, including the bank. If he has his record, we don't have we don't have proof of accepting that. So I wasn't sure if there was other ways to go about trying to find that, or if there was some help that someone could lend to that.
All right. We got a few comments from the board here. Yes, Ms. Thornton?
I want to point out that the motion to grant this lifetime membership was passed unanimously by the board.
Oh, yes,
I remember. I'm sorry, I'm speaking. In the overall hierarchy of things, the committee does not have, they can ask if we're sure we want to do it, but they don't have any right to ask for proof before they do it. I would encourage the chair to expedite the process so we can just move past this. Again, we all know there was no discussion about it during the meeting. It passed unanimously. The order from the board to the committee is simply to give this person a lifetime membership. That should be the end of this. Anyway, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Thornton. Yeah, I do recall now we did wish to honor that individual's membership, so I would go forward with the approval. The board did pass that. I see another hand, Mr. Chatterton.
Yes. As a point of order, the board does not have authority under the bylaws to simply just grant a membership. So I think it's critical that the matter is fully investigated and document the um, destination where that actually money went. That's right in the middle of the time when there was two groups that were claiming to be the Libertarian Party of Michigan. So I don't believe that just a statement saying Libertarian Party of Michigan on it is a proof that the payment came to the party. And if that did in fact not come to the party, that money belongs to the party and needs to be, I think, identified where it went to and get it to the party if we are to honor that membership.
All right, thank you for your input on that, Mr. Sheridan. Back to Ms. Daly. I see your hand went back up, and then Mr. Johnson.
Sure, thank you. I'm sorry for my ignorance. What meeting was that approved?
It was one of the last two that I just presented the minutes because I just saw it today.
I do believe it was our last meeting.
Yeah. And also Ryan Henry told me that if Frederick were to provide proof that it would be honored. So I mean, we provided proof. I just looked again. It's very clear proof. And, it's ridiculous to be putting a member through anything more when he spent time going through his bank account and he has the proof.
All right, Mr. Johnson? Or is that all, Ms. Daly?
No, I just wanted to apologize. I don't think that I was in that part of the meeting that we had approved that. I certainly would not have voted in favor of that. From what I understand, if this individual paid money to an organization that was claiming to be the Libertarian Party of Michigan, but at the time was not, I do not see, just for a statement here, I do not see that that's legitimate. Now just a transfer of membership. The money never came to the actual party. I certainly wouldn't be okay with that. Just for a statement.
Then I would suggest you file an appeal with Judicial Committee.
All right, thank you all. If we can keep civil order here, that'd be appreciated. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I think Angie just blurted out the appropriate channel that I was going to point out. This board voted to do this thing. If you think this thing is incorrect, please appeal it to the Judicial Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And back to Mr. Sheridan, and then I believe we can move on.
To reiterate my point of order, bylaws, Article 8, Section 1 says that membership shall be granted to any person who affirms the statement of principles and whose LPMI dues are current. If the party did not get that money, and as mentioned, there were two organizations claiming to be the Libertarian Party of Michigan, so the bank statement is not a compelling proof of that. It is a violation of the bylaws, and it would be appropriate, Mr. Chair, to rule that matter out of order for the previous vote, because you cannot have a vote on something that violates the bylaws under any circumstance. However, I submit that concern, and I think even if it is ultimately aligned on granting the membership, we need to trace down where those funds went so that independently that the party can do that. In case an individual, was confused in that situation, I think there could be matters handled from that, but it still needs to be found where that money went. And I would ask for a ruling on my point of order, please.
My ruling would be that to honor their membership, in my opinion, would still be in order. The tracking of the funds is somewhat separate, and it fell on our party to mitigate that confusion, which apparently we failed to do back then. But as far as that member, they believe they were sending their money to the party. It seemed to be an honest payment. And so I would rule it in order at this time. But thank you for your concern and regarding the bylaws, Mr. Chatterton.
I can also raise a point of privilege. I think we had discussion before the meeting that there's a person who has not identified themselves in the call tonight. And I think I heard mention that the policy has been that individuals who don't identify themselves are not allowed to be in the meetings.
Has that person not spoken up? C Squirt, do you mind bringing your name forward real fast?
Is that a bylaw or?
Point of information, when did we make that rule with this board?
I was just going by comments from other board members, so I don't know if it's an existing rule.
No.
No. We already talked about it. The chair already said.
Well, I have concern because I remember our first meeting, I had to watch some guy whacking off.
Yeah, and like I said, unless they do anything to disrupt the meeting, because this is technically a Libertarian public communication forum here, we will keep an eye on them. So that's about the best I think we can do at that point. Hopefully they can identify themselves sometime this meeting. That would be helpful. C Squared. But we can move forward on that because we got a lot of business to do today. Ms. Carver?
Regarding Mr. Hornt's membership, I just really think that we need to stop with this whole mess. This is what's caused problems in this party for so many years. Accept his membership, just like the board said we were going to do, and let's move on. If anybody's a problem, they can go to the JC. But just this division is why we are purged of members. This division is why we don't have volunteers. We need to just stop this.
All right, thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, I was just going to say in regard to that the topic Dana just addressed and that Mr. Chatterton brought up earlier, and also Leah had I think initially brought it up. The at the time, I believe at the time that we were talking about and I hope no one interrupts me because I want to just get this out. At that time, the identity of the leadership of the Libertarian Party of Michigan was ambiguous and disputed even between themselves. And therefore, I think paying dues.
Well, you muted, Scotty. Scotty, you muted yourself. Scotty, you muted yourself.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, what I was going to say is at the time I was addressing the matter of Mr. Hornt's membership. At the time that that this renewal or payment happened, I believe was a time during which the identity of the leadership of the party was in dispute, and even the members of each iteration believed they were the correct LEC. Therefore, with that much ambiguity, I think it is appropriate that we recognize payments to either faction. And of course, moving forward, we don't seem to have any dispute. I'm not aware of any other group now claiming to be the Libertarian Party of Michigan or believing themselves to be that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. All right, if there's nothing else to add to that issue, I believe we can move on. Like I said, we do have a fairly busy agenda tonight. All right, we can move on to announcements. Ms. Secretary, do you have anything to add in there?
No.
Yes, Mr. Essner.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, I just wanted to request that we put out a notice to all the affiliate chairs and request everybody check the website and the calendar to make sure all current dates are correct and information is up to date. I tried to post about Huron Raisin's meeting on X, and when I went to do that, I found multiple locations and conflicting information, which I sent an email and that was clarified. I'm not sure if it's been corrected on the website. If that's something that needs to be done or someone needs to assist in, I'm fine with helping with that. I just would need to know the information, and if I don't have access, would need access and a little training to make sure I do it correctly. But that's all. I just request everybody check their info so that we're not, sending people the wrong stuff.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Mr. Essner. Hopefully we will be able to correct that shortly. All right, any more announcements before we move on? All right, we are in member comments. Anything have anything to add? All right, seeing no comments from the membership, we can move on.
I'm sorry, I was gonna bring something up.
Yes, Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, sorry, I was just having a little trouble getting. I was looking through my emails because I was trying to find those receipts. I'd actually kind of forgotten about them, but it doesn't mean I'm not interested in being reimbursed. I gotta locate them, but I'd like to ask that, assuming the amount is under $200, that I be reimbursed for the receipts I present. I believe the only actual expense is that which I had spent on the statues, 3 statues, and 3 engraved plates. I believe everything else was an expense absorbed by the party in the sense of comped meals, and the programs that I thought would cost money to print were provided for free by the hotel.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. I do believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, did we not already vote to reimburse or provide funds for that at our last meeting?
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We tabled that because we weren't sure if we had the funds to cover it or not.
Correct. Thank you. I knew it was addressed. I forgot the outcome on that.
We could actually address that under old business next.
Yeah, I was going to say that technically that'd be our next session. So if you mind hanging on to that for just a few minutes, Mr. Bowman. All right, and as far as old business goes, that motion that was reworded from Mr. Bowman by the secretary as far as the release of funds, I would have to rule that wording out of order for the fact that it could be viewed as putting Mr. Chatterton in a form of duress legally, and that could give a negative liability to the party. So that's how I would personally rule on that motion. It's not that the sentiment is I disagree with, but we do have an active civil case and lawyers are involved. So we have to be careful on how we personally address that to a plaintiff or a defendant within that case.
Can I just make a quick comment on that? I respect that decision.
Yes.
And we actually had a majority of the board lined up to vote for this. I am very, very concerned that we have a member of our board who just a couple weeks ago told us he's not giving the party money back until we all quit. And I don't know how we can have a person on the board to do that. So I understand there's a hearing in a few days, and hopefully it will all be over with. But I would love to work with Andrew Chatterton on this board if he is willing to work with us. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Mr. Chatterton, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. I just want to make a brief statement to the subject matter on this. Despite many claims to the contrary, I have never and will never oppose the funds being held by the court being returned to the party, and specifically this board, independent of who leads it or led it at any time in the past or future. However, what I will not tolerate in my process for defending myself in this case in which I was unjustly brought into this matter, I will not tolerate rewriting of history. And as I said, I've never, attempted to stand in the way or denied the legitimacy of this board and the legitimate party. However, that is unfortunately in significant contrast with the other three defendants in this case, who on November 26th of 2024 sent out an email to their stolen membership list around the state, indicating that they intend to limit the ability to gain further control of the LPM assets, referring to the
Point of
legitimate party,
information.
the treasury, and diverting them from the plans of the party itself. So
I will.
I will not
Point of
ever stand in the
information.
way of
Is there
that.
a reason that we're
Unlike some
discussing this
people,
right now?
I would like to know,
unlike some people who recently changed their mind on who the
Mr.
legitimate party
Chatterton, if
is,
I could have
I
the
will
floor
not.
back for just one polite
I
moment.
did.
I
Fuck
would
you.
like to know, we are in a civil case here. We do have lawyers to represent us, and when addressing each other about the case or its such details, we have to proceed with caution due to liability on both of our parts. I say that as a protection for you, this party, and the other listed members on that case. I
Thank
would
you.
like, thank you, Mr. Sheridan.
If I can kind of just close the last part, I'm very confident that nothing that was said there was creating any liability there. Could I finish my statement since I was
Point of
interrupted?
order.
It was almost done when I got
Just
spoken
stop.
over.
I moving forward with how it's finished so far, I would feel uncomfortable both for yourself and for this party on that matter. And I say that in goodwill and good conscience.
Well, I think it moves on kind of from the main part of the court case and all that. So if I could just finish that, I'll be very quick. My reason for joining the board again was nothing to do with trying to oppose those money going back to the party, and specifically wanting to ensure that money does come back to the board as quickly as possible. And furthermore, I wanted to protect the party and make sure that it never bears any costs from the legal controversies that occurred over the last few years. So, it's that's all I'll say.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterton. Mr. Esner?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that in regards to what a possible request by Andrew Chatterton earlier in that Donna was referring to, it was not all. I am not included. I am not part of that list. And I also do not think we should talk anymore about that at this time, because I think that is information that should not be open right now.
Indeed, those were settlement negotiations, and I believe are specifically inappropriate to be brought publicly.
Yeah, so I would like to move on from the debate on civil suit, especially in open floor, especially when we have lawyers that are never battling this. So if any member comments on this moving forward, please be very subtle on how you're wording. Liability is an issue. Putting people under duress is an issue, especially with both sides of the people here. If there's nothing else, I believe it would be appropriate to move on. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and calmness on that. As far as other old business, we can move back to the reimbursement from Mr. Boatman. Do you have an exact number for reimbursement?
I'm working on it still. I found $47 for the engraving. Now I'm trying to find my statue order. So I'm working on it.
You can do it in open floor.
Can we? Yeah. Let's table it to open floor, and maybe I'll find it by then.
That's fine, Mr. Bowman. All right, now we can move on to new business, which is going to first start off with the appointment of the District 5 representative. If we accept the body's motion to approve Larry Hennon to District 5.
So I made that motion in the agenda.
Yeah, does it have a quick second so we can move on to
Second.
debate and vote? All right,
I've got a question.
yes.
Is Mr. Herman in District 5? I thought he was in District 4.
He, I believe, is in District 5, yes. Correct, Larry? But you're muted, Larry.
Yes, I'm in District 5. I live in St. Joseph County.
All right, thank you for your confirmation on that. Is there any debate before we proceed to a vote? Any questions? All right, all in favor of accepting the body's recommendation for Larry Hennon, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
This is Angie. I'd like to record an abstention.
Thank you. I was going to ask any abstentions other than myself and Miss Angela.
So there was no no's, correct?
No
Just
nays.
2 abstentions. Okay.
Correct. All right. Welcome to the board, Larry. We will have to affirm you through the body in probably our April convention if we can get it into April. But welcome.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. We will have to put that back on.
Thank you.
All right. As of now, you can be a voting member on this board. All right. Appointment of second vice chair. This will be just to accept the body's recommendation of Mr. Trevor Stepp to being the second vice chair. And we can open up debate because I do know some individuals want to debate on this. Ms. Carver, I see you recognized.
Okay. I just, as someone who's had to read the minutes a lot for committees and certain things, I've reacquainted myself with my time on the board with Mr. Stepp, as well as my time off the board. A lot of the things that we have had to fix as a body, he was part of those votes. So this makes me uncomfortable. He voted to disaffiliate all of the affiliates that were disaffiliated. He voted to remove members, purge them from the party. He voted to, just at the very last minute, just before this board changed hands, he voted to tie up $15,000 that we're still trying to get back part of for a court case that doesn't need, no one ever should have had to get lawyers for. It should have just, the money should have come back to the party. He voted against sending our delegates to national, to convention. I mean, it goes on and on and on what has happened. I personally felt terrorized by Mr. Stepp whenever I was on the board with him. Did they try to remove me and censure me pretty much for 7 months because I stood up for the rights of the members? And I'm just not real comfortable with this at this moment.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Franklin, I see your hand was up next.
Yes, I would just say that Trevor has to be one of the single most productive libertarians I've ever met and extremely effective in the jobs that he has done for us. So I can't give him any bigger endorsement than that. He absolutely should be put in the position by this board, especially since the convention body decided that that's who they wanted overwhelmingly.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, I believe, first of all, that we, as a body, had agreed going into the convention. In fact, I believe we were originally just going to have an election, and then we realized there was a timing issue and a notice issue. And if indeed there had been an election, this would not even be a matter settled. It would have been, I mean, it wouldn't be a matter being disputed, it would be a matter settled, and Mr. Stepp would already be a voting member of this meeting and would be part of the roll call. The timing for proper notice not being correct, we, you know, told the delegates, we polled the delegates because we wish to go by the wishes of the convention, and rather than a small group of people like ourselves making that choice. And the body as a whole, the convention, a well-attended convention, chose Mr. Stepp. First of all. Secondly, I stand by my nomination of him because, as far as working with candidates, processing paperwork, making proper notice to the Secretary of State, an issue that I especially want to bring up, even when he wasn't officially holding that office any longer, and he helped the candidate even before that, so basically on a volunteer basis, stepping up and doing that, I believe it is entirely appropriate for both those reasons, for him to take on this position. I am aware of the factional disputes and the voting that effectively defines sides in those factional disputes, and I want to move past that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Mr. Saliba, I see your hand was up next.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the body was aware it was a non-binding vote, and the body also was not aware that Mr. Stepp also made invitations to very anti-libertarian guests for our convention, including one that showed up to tell us to stop being libertarians. That's information that I think would change some votes just later in the evening, and since it wasn't official at the time, we can be a stopgap measure here.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Chatterton?
So independent of anything that happened at convention, I think the duty of this body is to vote for the person that would be the best for the party in terms of doing this role. We've seen, I think, overwhelmingly over the last several years that Trevor has demonstrated that he is that person. He's put up outstanding results in our campaigns in the last election cycle, got more candidates elected through his support and assistance and guidance than has happened in decades with the party in one cycle, as well as having people elected to very significant offices that are serving as stepping stones to extend the party's political reach and grow its influence politically, as well as to help the individuals filling those roles to be qualified for higher offices and achieve even bigger results down the road. We need to have more of that, and I think if we do not choose Trevor for this, I believe that decision will be simply being based on fiction and on political preferences of people who are looking out for what they want and their own political interests over the interests of the party. So I'd encourage everybody on the board to vote for appointing Trevor, as that has, in my opinion, nothing to do with the matters from convention and preferences expressed there, but we should be voting for the best candidate for the role.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterton. We can go back to you, Fitzgerald, for your second time.
Everyone hear me okay?
He didn't. I don't think
Thank
he's
you.
talked yet.
I thought, was it? No, it was Dave Franklin. Sorry, don't know why the F got me confused.
So that's all right. Just to start with a personal note, I did run for a race for county commissioner here in Wayne. Mr. Stepp helped me every step of the way with what kind of outcomes I could expect and how to get the paperwork filed and fill everything out line by line. I can attest to his professionalism and knowledge in this matter, and I think he is very good at doing the mechanics that the job requires. And I know that he worked with another individual who did actually get elected to a position around here, and without Mr. Stepp, I think it would have been a lot more difficult. I support Mr. Stepp.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Duke.
So I want to speak up and have a fairly neutral opinion here. I talked to Trevor before the convention, before call to order, and I supported him I asked him if he would be running for second vice chair because I would support him. And after Scotty's nomination, I was one who voted for him. And I do believe at that time he was the best choice. Since then, I have received an invoice from the H Hotel, and it says that the Libertarian Party of Michigan paid for a breakout room with lunches. As a board member and as the treasurer, I have no knowledge of these. I don't understand what this room was, why these lunches were paid for. So I'm at this point asking Trevor, please explain this. Otherwise, I can only assume.
I will allow rebuttal from Trevor Stepp on that.
Sure, I paid for that myself. That had nothing to do with the party.
So that came from your personal funds and not party funds, you can confirm?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for that, Mr.
I would
Stepp.
like that was not the question, but I should have added that it was paid for by an unknown credit card. I want to know what it was because the Libertarian Party of Michigan authorized it. That's who held it.
No, it was just me.
All right.
I need more, Trevor. Please just elaborate. I don't want to have 20 questions.
Mr. Chair, the question is, did I purchase a meeting room to have lunch with some friends? Yes.
I believe he was referring to the fact that it was labeled as Libertarian Breakout Room. Is that what you're getting at, Mr. Duke? At least that's what the
Chair,
hotel
it was
labeled
not
it as.
labeled as Libertarian Party of Michigan. The Libertarian Party of Michigan is the LPMI.
Yeah, it was just labeled as Libertarian Breakout Room, if I remember from the hotel signs. Does that answer your question, Mr. Duke?
I don't think my question is going to be answered, honestly, I guess. The invoice states the Libertarian Party of Michigan. Yes, it was paid for by something else. The invoice does. I can double check to be absolutely certain. I got 2 invoices. Both were to the Libertarian Party of Michigan.
Okay, well, I paid for it myself, and it's not for the party. I was just working with Andrea, but she quit, and so she probably left it off, and they didn't change it to my name.
All right.
There may be an error upon the hotels, what I'm understanding.
I'm not sure what the issue is here. The party didn't pay for it. I can show you my hotel room. That's the party didn't pay for that either. Is that? I'm not sure what the.
Right. Okay, we can go on to a few of the other people we got. Mr. Salivo for your second time.
Yeah, there was a sign that said Libertarian Party of Michigan breakout room pointing to the room. And yes, I Trevor paid for it himself, but it just sort of illustrates, when Scotty made his nomination of Trevor, it was about putting, factions aside, but it was a Mises Caucus breakout room, and it illustrates that he's always going to do a little bit something extra for the Mises Caucus, and one faction's always going to get a little bit of extra edge. I'm sure that the Radical Caucus and the Audacious Caucus and 5 other caucuses didn't get called to see if they wanted to book a room at the exact same time. And once it was announced, I'm sure they couldn't have booked a room at the exact same time, but there was a special advantage given to the Mises Caucus.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Saliba, we can go to you, Ms. Thornton.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I did have questions for Mr. Stepp. Is it okay if I address him directly or?
Yes.
Do you want? Okay. Mr. Stepp, I have 2 questions. One, can you confirm that this was a Mises breakout room, or will you deny that? My other question is, am I to understand that you personally scheduled an event to compete with the party's lunch, which was a fundraiser, and so you put together an alternative event that directly conflicted with the party's probably biggest fundraiser. And if that's true, why would you do that?
If you'd like to have a rebuttal on that, Mr. Stepp.
Yeah, sure. I did rent a room to have some time to myself when I needed to take a break from the convention, and I met with a couple of people one-on-one outside of the convention during some of the breaks, and I had lunch with some people, and some of them were in the Mises Caucus, and some of them were not. I did pay for a lunch in the convention hall, and other members, I believe, that attended did also purchase the lunch and ate their lunch in that room.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Stepp. All right, is there any more comments from the membership?
I can't raise my hand. I had a couple questions. Um, I really want to support Trevor and want to work with him, but I had sent him some questions that I had hoped he would answer because he was involved in a lot of the purging, denying us our national delegate spots last year, and a lot of other stuff that I don't want to bring the past up, but I did want to ask him because you worked against so many of us, how do you feel about working now with us? Are you going to be able to work with us? Or is there still some sort of competition going on? I don't know because I don't understand you guys at all. So that's what I'm asking.
As a point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We talked about avoiding liability, but there's been a lot of statements by people which are contradicting documented facts from legal records. So if we're concerned about liability of board members, I would encourage some of the folks that continue on with this matter that's already been shown to be a non-issue. I think we should move on.
Truth is an absolute defense, and I had the floor, so go away.
I
Can
will
Trevor
say,
please answer my questions?
as far as the question, would he be willing to work with us? I believe that's definitely appropriate. I'm not exactly up to date on what is in previous court cases, Mr. Chatterton, entirely, so I cannot make proper rulings on that. But Mr. Trevor Stepp, as far as the question that was brought to you, how do you like to
Yeah,
respond to
Mr.
that?
Chair, I'm only here to work with the party. I've not worked against the party. That statement's ridiculous. Thanks.
It was a question. You voted for the things that I mentioned. I saw the meetings. Oh, okay.
All right. Mr. Chatterton, I believe it's your second time.
Sure. My last one was a point of order. Or yeah, it is from my earlier statement. I'm sorry. I believe this very board recently appointed Mr. Stepp as the convention committee of that prior convention that we just held. So I think he's got a strong track record that he has worked with this board consistently throughout the entire term so far. So I don't know why that's in question.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterton. All right. If there's nothing else, I would like to have Mr. Stepp an opportunity to speak before we go to our vote. All right. Ms. Kerber, for a second time.
I would just like to state for the record, yes, he was put on convention committee, but it seems as though we lost a lot of money on that, and there was not a lot of communication, and our poor secretary was tearing her hair out trying to get information during that time, and it just seems like a communication error and a communication issue, and a lot of shady things going on, and like I said, there's part of the past that just that we have had to work through as a board here to repair. And yeah, I'm not bound to anything.
Thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Essner, real quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I think that we should, we should go with what the body asked, and then also I'd like to make a statement about as far as communication. I'm not
personally privy to communication that other people had with Trevor leading up into this convention. But I personally had no issues getting in touch with Trevor. Every time I had an issue, I reached out to him and he responded. And so I understand other people had issues. I don't know what that is. That's not me, but I didn't have any of those issues personally. And also as far as the past goes, I purposely stayed away to avoid a lot of that, and I want to move forward from that. And I am not personally privy because I was purposely not being involved in it. So that doesn't really impact my decision at this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Hessner. And then we can go to Mr. Johnson, and we can allow Mr. Stepp to have a quick statement before we vote.
Yes, I just had a point of information. I have not heard any other candidates put forward, so I'm guessing this would be a Trevor versus Noda at this point.
Yes. Today we will only be voting whether we accept the body's recommendation. That's the wording. So if we do not accept them, we will not proceed to an open vote at this point in time.
Can I ask a question about that? On the agenda, it stated that other people had expressed interest. So why is it not
Was
proper?
that not the wording I saw at first then?
Anyway,
Let me see. Unless I saw a different wording originally. Okay, I see it now.
I mean, I don't know what the legalities are, but
Sorry, I thought it was listed as the acceptance of the body's vote, not appointment of vice chair. So technically, you are correct. Because of that wording, somebody else can be nominated and there can be a vote. I was mistaken on that. Ms. Carver?
I nominate Mike Saliba if he is still interested in that position.
Okay.
Point of order.
Yes, Mr. Bowman?
I believe there's already a motion on the floor. Now, I guess a motion on the
No.
floor could be amended, or we could, if there is a failure to fill the vacancy with Mr. Stepp, then there could be a follow-up. But I
There
don't
is no
believe it's in
motion on
order
the
to just.
there is no
The word,
motion on the floor. We
the
went right into
wording,
the discussion.
yes, no, Mr. Bowman, I was mistaken earlier when I spoke to you. The
Okay.
wording is listed as just the appointment. So this is voting upon the appointment. So technically, there can be other nominations. I thought the wording was listed differently. My
Okay,
apologies.
I withdraw my objection.
All right. Hearing none, then I will allow Mr. Stepp to speak. Mr. Sheridan, I will note you have spoken 2 times. So is this a motion, point of
No,
order?
not an argument or anything. It's a point of privilege, I guess.
Okay.
Since we've heard from Mr. Stepp and several people comment on his credentials for the role, I'd like to also hear from Mr. Saliba.
Yeah, I would like to give both of them a moment to make an actual statement. Trevor Stepp has only been able to make rebuttals against questions, and I would like to have them, both of them to be able to make statements before we proceed to a vote. All right. Seeing nothing else, Mr. Stepp, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today on the call, and I'm excited if I do get the position again. But if not, that's fine as well. I'm sure the other candidates will do a great job getting the candidate paperwork in and all of that. But I have been excited to work with Miss Sleds on her campaign. I unfortunately I've been out of town for a little bit here, but back in it and. Saw the results from that 35th district seat election on Tuesday, which was actually my birthday. And so it looked like the Democrats had a lot of votes there. So she'll be probably up against that. But I really want to get some candidates on the ballot, and I have a few people who've reached out to me that I worked with in the past, and even in this meeting, someone Mr. Fitzgerald had said, he'd ran before, and I want to get those people back and get in touch with them. And I hope we can get a lot of candidates on the ballot. In 2024, we are the #1 state in the country with the most libertarians on the ballot, and I hope we can retain that crown. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stepp. All right, Mr. Saliba, if you'd like a moment to speak.
I pretty much said everything at the convention already. I've been in 6 elections. I've worked with lots of the election boards. I've, shuttled up paperwork, state and county. I even got myself on the ballot when leadership was in flux. I've just been around for a long time. I can do it. Trevor can do it too. I'm not saying he can't. But there's other issues happening, and vote as you will.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Saliba. Mr. Chardon, I see your hand went back up.
I had a question for Mr. Saliba.
All right.
You mentioned about getting a nomination when the leadership was in flux. What race was that in, and when was that nomination done?
I decline.
All right.
Excuse me?
He said he declined the question, I believe.
You were aware when it happened.
I don't recall.
Can you repeat that question? I did not get it.
I was curious about the race that Mike referenced that he talked about running for office during the leadership in flux, as he put it.
I ran for township trustee in Clinton Township.
All right. If there's nothing else, I believe it's appropriate to move on to a vote now. Ms. Carver, is it
Just really quickly, I'd like to speak on his run. He did a really good job during that and busted his butt and did poll watching and all sorts of fun stuff.
That was the 2024 race, I take it?
It's public record. I don't know what you're trying to get me in, but it's public record. It's on Ballotpedia.
I will note if you have any comments, please raise your hand so we keep it in the civil order. Thank you. Mr. Eschner, so your hand went back up?
It's for when we go to take the vote. I just want to get a recorded vote is all. I thought we were moving forward, not discussing.
We will be doing a roll call vote for that.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Seeing no other comments, we can proceed to a vote. We'll be doing a roll call. The current nominated members are Mr. Stepp and Mr. Saliba. And then, of course, there is the option of NOTA/abstention. So, Ms. Secretary, if you'd like to carry out that vote.
Okay. We have Scott.
Trevor Stepp.
Andrew Duke.
None of the above.
Okay. I guess I need another column for that, right? I'm going to vote for what the delegates wanted. Dana.
Mike Saliba.
Jay.
Trevor Stepp.
Tori Heinrich.
Trevor Stepp.
Raphael Wolf.
Mr. Saliba.
Larry Henneman.
Trevor Stepp.
Larry Johnson.
Mike Saliba.
Leah Daly.
Trevor Stepp.
Angela Thornton.
Mr. Saliba.
Charles Essner.
Trevor Stepp.
Mike Saliba.
Me.
Dave Franklin.
Mr. Stepp.
Andrew Chatterton.
Vote for Trevor Stepp.
Colin Fitzgerald.
I vote for Mr. Steps.
And Tim, you abstain?
Yes.
Okay, it's 10 to 5 to 1.
All right. Welcome aboard, Mr. Stepp. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
All right, now we can move on. Section C was appointment of representative for National Platform Committee with the motion to approve Angela Thornton as Libertarian Party of Michigan representative to the National Committee. I believe, unless anyone else showed interest, I believe Ms. Thornton was the only one I've seen that showed interest.
I would put my own name for that position.
Okay, is there any other nominations before we open discussion and proceed to votes?
Did we get seconds?
Oh yeah, anyone want to second Mr. Sheridan's nomination, or do we need that? Sorry, still a learning curve here.
Well, I made the motion to approve Angela, so I thought it needed a second.
I'll second Donna's motion.
Okay.
Hey, let me see the wording on that. Secretary, so the motion is only to approve Angela Thornton, correct?
Oh,
so I believe we would have to handle that motion as an individual motion.
okay.
The language on the agenda is the same as what we considered for the prior positions where we considered it an open election.
Appointment, secretary.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's right.
I'll have. So the heading is different than the motion, essentially, on this one.
So we just have two people running against each other. They both have seconds to the motion.
Yeah.
That's
so if you'd
really
like to just amend your motion real quick.
well. I made the motion. And somebody else made the motion to nominate. Okay, I'll amend my motion to say nominate.
Thank you. All right, so
And
we can
then he
clarify that
nominated.
for the record. And that motion has been seconded for an opening nominations for that appointment.
Point of parliamentary procedure, Mr. Chair. I
Yes,
believe
Mr.
elections
Johnson.
like this and the previous one are not really done as motions. They're elections, and we accept nominations, and then we vote.
All right, so we will just proceed with nominations. So far, we have Ms. Thornton and Mr. Chatterton. Is there any other nominations? All right, hearing none.
Sorry, I nominate Noda.
Noda, yes. All right. Hearing none, we can open up discussion, and after discussion, I'll allow both of them to have a final say before the vote. Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, I have strong feelings here that we really need to put Angela Thornton in this position. We need someone who can speak loudly and clearly to the LEC amidst the chaos that exists at the national level, and I believe she can do that. She's had the confidence and the kind of the trial by fire experience of having been with us through perhaps one of the most difficult times, and at least the most difficult time in our party's history I can think of, other than maybe losing ballot status. But that's a different kind of thing. It's not an internal issue. That's one thing. Specifically, also in contrast to her opponent, Mr. Chatterton, and I'm only going to be speaking about specifically as it involves representation on the national stage, aside from everything else. He, and I was at that convention in D.C. when we find out that we have been put into a different region without any consultation with the Michigan delegation at large. Now, maybe there were one or two people he spoke to individually. That's probably true. But as far as the Michigan delegation, and I'm not talking about people from Michigan sitting with other delegations. As far as the Michigan delegation goes, he didn't consult us. He went off and decided to do this on his own. And I guess they ruled it in order, but the fact of the matter is it's a break of precedence during my entire membership in this party, whenever there's been a national convention, people caucus with their regions when there's any big decisions to be made, and people choose their region rep in that context of that caucus, and that didn't happen. Furthermore, it's fortunate that we even had a Michigan delegation at the convention, at least one maybe larger than a couple people, because he actively joined in with others challenging the legitimacy of the delegation that was duly elected at a convention. I believe it was in Grand Blanc, to go to that convention. And so for both those reasons, I believe, one, Angela would be an excellent choice, and two, Mr. Chatterton would be a very poor choice for that position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Ms. Carver, I see your hand up next.
I would also like to speak in favor of Angela for different reasons. She is more of a like moderate choice. Like, she's not part of a faction. She would, her and I have talked about the platform before, and I've seen her uphold the platform in many, many discussions online with other people that challenge our platform. She's like you said, she's not in any sort of side of the caucus wars. And she would be the better choice. She would try to stay in line with what the platform stands for, and she seems to believe in what the platform stands for, so I trust her judgment on not destroying our platform.
All right, thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Chatterton, I see your hand up.
Thank you. Just to speak in response to some of the things that have been said, I heard a lot of comments from people in this meeting talking about how they wanted to move on from things. And a lot of the statements in this meeting have basically just been attacks based on fiction. As was discussed at the convention, there was nothing improper done with the region formation. It was approved by state party, and it's been approved by 14 other state parties that all agreed that it was proper within the region. So moving on from that, the rest of the matters at hand, I think that the considerations of the platform, there's sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I've had a lot of experience working with the platform and working with the national party, collecting feedback from not just members in Michigan, but members around the country. I do certainly think that I am very well qualified to represent Michigan and certainly represent the interests of Michigan LP on the national platform committee. And instead of resulting to false claims and attacks, I think I should just talk about my merits for the role here.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterton. Ms. Carver for the second time.
I would just like to set the record straight on something, even though it really didn't have a lot to do with anything. What Scotty said was true. I was on the board with Andrew. The board didn't even know. We found out on Facebook with a Facebook post. The delegates tried to challenge that. So the state party, the delegates for the state party tried to challenge that at convention in DC. And we're basically told by the former secretary that we could kind of get bit. So no, the state party was not behind any of that. I just wanted to set that record straight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carver. And Mr. Saliba, I see your hand up next.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that we actually got into the mess we had been into for several years because of something that happened on the platform. The platform, the national platform, was changed by a specific group of people to be more welcoming to white supremacists, and that's how we lost Tim Yao. That's how we lost Ben Boren, and that's how we got into a whole mess of things. That's why we don't have people like Greg Stempfel around, who have given more than half of their lives, time, talent, treasure to this party because of a change in the platform. So the platform does matter, and who we send to represent us does.
Thank you, Mr. Saliba. Mr. Franklin.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I would like some information on what someone could define white supremacy for me.
Sounds like you're pretty aware.
If we can keep comments in order, if there is anyone that would like to respond to that, you may.
I have
If
a
you raise
point
your
of
hand.
information that I'd like to share with the board.
All right, Mr. Chatterton.
The platform change that Mr. Saliba referred to adopted the language in the platform that says we uphold and defend the rights of every person, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or any other aspect of their identity. So, if that's white supremacist, I don't know.
All right, thank you for that point of information, Mr. Sheridan. Jay?
I'd like to speak in favor of Angela. Angela, I know that I was lucky enough to be elected to the National Platform Committee this year because I think that a lot of what I think is important for the libertarian principles need to be supported and upholded. And I think Angela's someone that I think is going to do the same kind of thing that I want to do for the party. And I don't really believe that the move that the party took to the right 4 years ago was in the best interest of the party. And I think that Angela will help support the things that I would like to see the platform committee focus on. So, thank you.
Thank you for that, Jay. Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, and I hope I'm not violating any rules by speaking twice. I already said who I support. I support Angela. So this is I'm just doing a follow-up because I think there is such a thing as trying to keep proper decorum and having reasonable statements during a meeting of this kind. And I want to be clear that, and Mr. Chatterton did read what the replacement language was, that the change made was not one that involved making the platform more welcoming to white supremacists, contrary to what many people believe, because the wording doesn't support that. First of all, secondly, I really doubt that. I think one of the people who helped craft that wording was Spike Cohen, and I really don't think that would make sense that he would have such views. Finally, I wanted to add one thing that's kind of an interesting twist. While much of the split was kind of catalyzed by that platform plank, and for those who quit over things, if one group of people in the party are doing things you don't like, the way to deal with that is to try to bring in people who support what you like, not quit and just hand it over to people who you disagree with. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But at the Lansing, I was one of the people meeting with the Lansing folks back in, I believe the correct year was 2023 on April 1st. I was at that event, and just to make it clear, and I voted for Mr. Saliba for chair at that event on that day. But one of the other matters that came up in that discussion was actually, and I don't know if I made the motion or someone else, but to actually have added to our state platform the original language, which includes the statement, which I agree with, that racism is irrational and repugnant, or bigotry, I think it actually is irrational and repugnant, into our state platform. And actually following some interesting points made by Delegate John Kuhn, that, well, if you got somebody who's got some, messed up beliefs, but they're supporting your liberty, and someone seems less messed up, but they're against your liberty, who do you really want in our party? And it was a hypothetical, but in any case, after that, the majority of the delegates at that convention, the convention not in Wixom, the one in Lansing, for those people who care about this historical reference, voted against putting that in our platform. So I guess if we're going to say the people that voted to change the national platform wanted to make our party more welcoming to white supremacists, then you would also have to say that about the majority of the delegates at the Lansing convention on April 1st of that day.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Mr. Sheridan, for your second time.
Thank you. I remembered the point that I lost my train of thought on. Part of the reason I wanted to run for this position was based on some recent experiences that I had on the national committee and some troubling trends that I've seen in the Libertarian Party of late. There have been two recent motions that have gone through at the LNC level. And one of the recent ones that ultimately was adopted had a very troubling amendment made to that. And it was a resolution condemning intervention abroad. There was a provision in that language that stated um, the we oppose military aid, arms sales, and intelligence sharing that prolongs foreign conflicts. And that language was stricken from the resolution before it could be adopted and basically was the primary teeth behind the language that was removed. So even though it remained as, opposition to interventions abroad, it took out the only really significant thing that it said would be done about it. Furthermore, we have seen a recent resolution that's not even been able to get sponsorship that condemns nothing to do with welfare generally, but just welfare fraud. And people have argued against these resolutions on grounds that generally don't make sense, that don't connect with libertarian ideals. And I've seen that as just emblematic as an overall trait that's come before the party in the last few years. And I would like to be a part of the platform committee so that I can ensure that we do not see those kind of matters continue to take root in this party. People that are opposed to a statement that only the military industrial complex itself could oppose. If you're a libertarian and you don't oppose actions by the military industrial complex that extend foreign wars, I don't know if you're in the right place. And then the matters with regard to welfare fraud, um, that's been objectively documented around the country, and there's still things that are standing in the way of that. And I want to make sure that the National Party puts those issues front and center to make sure that we speak to those important and critical issues that are prominent in the news cycle right now and need to be talked about from a nuanced perspective that only libertarians can bring to thread the needle between the authoritarian positions of the left and the authoritarian positions of the right, both. We've seen our administration calling basic acts of protest as domestic terrorism, and we've seen people on the left side throwing indoctrinated um, supporters into a buzzsaw like martyrs so that they can profit off of the outrage from that. And if libertarians don't step up and take a nuanced and correct libertarian stand on these issues, we're going to see the narrative get ceded to one side or the other. So libertarians have an amazing opportunity right now to step in and be that voice of reason when there isn't one otherwise. And these issues are in the national prominence. So I'd hope that I could be supported for the platform committee so that those things can have light brought to them further.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Sheridan. Mr. Essner, I believe this is your second time, unless you can correct me.
I believe it's my first time. I
Okay,
just
sorry
added
about that.
NOTA. That was
Yeah, that's
what I
what it
did
was.
before.
You recommend?
Yeah, so I'm speaking in favor of NOTA. I don't, I think that I understand people want to change the platform. I think that we don't have anyone qualified to do so unless they are going to basically say that we need to get rid of everything and that it's like government, everything. We'll work to shut the government down. When we can't shut down, we defund. We don't pay for anything else, basically. Um, Also, I'd like to mention something about as far as like welfare fraud goes, government spending is fraud. It's all fraud. It's stolen funds. It's all fraud. So
Agree.
specifically calling out welfare is not necessary. And I think that NOTA is the proper way to vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Jay, for your second time?
Hi, I read the resolution that Andrew's talking about, and it's written by Austin Martin, and there's a lot of good things in that resolution, but in the middle of it are things that are deliberately designed to make cultural issues part of this conversation. And that's the problem that I would have with that resolution. And that's the problem that I have with some of the directions that Andrew and Austin and some of the others want to take the party in terms of the platform. So that's why I was supporting Angie. And that's a good example of, in terms of specific resolution issues that I have with Andrew. So that's my point. Thank you.
Call the question.
Second.
All right. Calling the question has been moved and seconded. We will do a quick vote on that. All in favor of calling the question, please say aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions other than myself?
I just want to point out that Angela didn't get to speak to her nomination.
I have noticed, unfortunately, but the question has been called. Moving forward with that, we will proceed to a roll call vote on this. The options are Mr. Chatterton, Miss Angela Thornton, Noda, and abstain. The secretary, if you'd like to count the votes.
Sure. Scott Bowman,
Angela Thornton.
Trevor Stepp,
Noda.
Andrew Duke,
Angela.
I'm voting for Angela. Dana Carver,
Angela.
Jay Gillott,
Angela.
Tori Heinrich,
Noda.
Raphael Wolf,
Angela.
Larry Henneman,
I abstain.
Larry Johnson,
Angela.
Leah Daly,
Noda.
Angela Thornton. She's still there? Angela? Guess I'll come back.
I'm sorry,
Back
I was having technical issues. Yes, I vote for Angela myself.
Charles Essner,
Noda.
Mike Saliba,
Angela.
Dave Franklin,
Noda.
Andrew,
I'll also vote Noda.
Colin,
Noda.
and Tim.
I abstain.
Okay. 9 for Angela, 2 abstentions, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Noda.
All right. Angela has the position.
Noda almost won.
Close there.
Jeez.
All right. And then for new business, we'll move on to the nominating convention. Which
Do I have, let me just see. I got so many.
sorry, trying to zoom in to see where we're at there. All right, as far as first order of business on nominating, is committees for convention. The secretary makes a motion to appoint convention and credential committee for April 25th convention. Help is needed for AV equipment. We also need camera and enough notaries.
So I just made those notes. We don't need a huge committee if we do a very simple convention, which is what I've been proposing. You know, I do need help with certain things and on the day of the convention. But if we could just plan, you know, an inexpensive, easy 1-day convention. We've had very low turnout for the meals recently. Plus, we have 2 other conventions with meals. And then we sometimes end up losing money because not enough people sign up for the meals. And I just was looking to do something different because people are burned out on and broke with having 3 conventions. And I wanted to put in a word. I talked to most of you at the convention about, as a candidate, I find it really hard to wait until July to even know that I'm a candidate. And July is when we should all be out. We should be out in May, June, and July politicking. I think we get about 5 people a week asking us on Facebook who our governor candidate is, and we don't even have anything to tell them until July. And I just think we're putting ourselves at a big disadvantage. So I'm just sort of summarizing. I sort of broke down the different components, what we need to get through, but I'm pushing this for a reason, because we have the May convention. And if we wait till after the May convention, then we're into June or July again, which the purpose is to get candidates on the ballot. And I think we need to have that as a priority and do it sooner versus later. So anyway.
Thank you for that, Ms. Secretary. Have we even confirmed the date, April 25th for the convention?
No, and that's why the first motion was to actually approve a committee for the convention, or we can vote separately on the date. I did a ton of research, called about 50 people. We really should get going much, much earlier than this. And next year, Andrew Duke wants to host it in Southwest Michigan. I suggest you get started much earlier. There is nothing in Oakland. I called so many people, and May is worse because you got graduations and weddings. So I'm hoping we stick with April 25th. But anyway, I'll stop because other people have to talk.
Very good. So the motion currently on the floor is to appoint convention and credential committee and to settle on the date April 25th, correct? It's linked,
Yeah.
lumped together. Does that motion
Yeah,
have a
I have
second?
it as one. Yep.
I'll second.
Thank you. And then we can open up debate. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to applaud Donna for doing a lot of the initial legwork here. Obviously, the convention and this body gets to vote on everything, but she's put in a lot of hard work, and she emailed me questions because I was local to some of the venues. I would like to second the 25th as an appropriate date for this also because yes, our candidates do need to get a head start in campaigning. B, as she mentioned, finding rooms at the end of April is hard enough. I don't know if June is even going to be possible at this point. And C, we get to go into a national convention with our candidates already nominated, which looks A, professional, and B, gives them an opportunity to fundraise at a much larger audience than we might ordinarily have, especially since the convention, the national convention, is hosted in our state this year. I yield the floor.
Thank you for that, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Bowman.
I oppose the date of April 25th. For one thing, it means I'll be needing to take a day off work that I would not normally need to take off. But second to that, it's the in my opinion, we get a better sense of open seats because often we find out, and I know it's possible, but the amount of time to do the research is extremely brief. It is possible to find out where those open seats are, after the filing of paperwork, which I think is on like the 21st or something like that after the filing deadline. But it'd be better to have a little more time to do the research, especially since there's so many local offices around the state, and there's so many municipalities one could dig through looking for these seats that it's good to have more time to, in other words, so we can run people for sure thing winning opportunities, basically, where they can run uncontested. That's one thing, and especially in counties where they have partisan elections, like Washington, for instance. The other matter is that I just believe it would provide some good space to have it in June after the. You could still be campaigning like crazy in late June and July, but perhaps in mid-June have a convention then. One thing I see about doing it that way is that you're still ahead of those other parties picking their candidates because people are asking, oh, we're bringing up, well, we can't answer people's questions as to who's running for governor. Well, guess what? The duopoly, they can't either because they have not nominated their candidates. And in fact, if we nominate our candidates in June, we're still ahead of them because their conventions on, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe wouldn't be until like August, like mid-August. I think they have the primary in the Tuesday after the second Monday or after the first Monday in August, I believe. So we'd still be ahead of them.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Bowman. Miss Daly?
Yeah, I want to speak in opposition of having this convention in April, though I do see some benefit in getting out ahead of the game. It's very difficult in the years that in these even years because we also have this national convention. So 3 conventions for the year. That's typical. That's a lot for our membership to endure. So I am worried about convention burnout. We had this last convention very early, being in January. Having this convention in April is very different than what the membership is used to. And I also just want to point out, I know Ms. Craig knows all these things too because all the work that goes into it, whether it be the unaffiliated regions caucus, the 60-day notice to all the affiliate chairs, those delegate nominating conventions that the affiliates then have to roll into their schedule. And this is kind of all just back to back to back. So I'm a little concerned about that timing as well as how much work is needed that goes into these type of conventions. Just flipping around in 8 weeks, I'm worried that's not enough time. And I think it would be appropriate at this time to discuss convention committee, to erect a convention committee for sure. Because like we've said before, if we're looking at conventions of around 100 people, there's a lot of things to consider. I'm not sure if right now looking into April would give us enough time to do that. So I'm speaking in opposition of an April date. I think July would be better, but I think it would be very appropriate to talk about a convention committee and or a credentials committee. I mean, credentials committee is they pretty much have to wait until all the delegate names come in from the affiliates, but convention committee certainly can be erected at this time so they can get working on all those details. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I
Thank
just
you,
want
Ms.
to say
Daly.
I'm not able to, but I'd like to be put back in the queue to answer some of these concerns, but go ahead and let everybody else go. But I can't
All
raise my
right.
hand.
I'll have you after Raphael.
Okay.
All right, Miss Carver?
Okay, I would like to speak in favor of this. As someone who's been a candidate multiple times, I have had to do it different ways, all 3 times. My first time that I was a candidate, I got to be nominated in July May, because we had our nomination committee convention in May that year in 2016. That gave me extra time to be out there. Then my next candidacy was after we got primary party status. So technically I had to wait till after the primary, which was August. I mean, I didn't have to, but I mean, like as the only libertarian candidate for that seat, there was much to do. I got my name out there a little bit, but kind of before I could be official, it had to be August because we don't have the money that the big people have. Whereas right now they're already on TV running for their primary, and we're not doing that because we aren't official candidates. Whereas I'm already seeing ads on YouTube and on the TV for candidates for August, which is what gives them that benefit because they do have that primary. Then my third time around, I had to wait until July to be nominated again. Again, does not give us a lot of time to be official. The official part is very important because we don't get the press, we don't get the forums, we don't get anything until we are on that ballot. And those forums and stuff like that are very important. So I do agree that April would be better. And yes, everybody has, no matter what time of the year we have it, we have convention fatigue because we have 3 conventions on these years. Also, in light of the time of the year that we have been having this, it's been in July. July is very expensive in our state, no matter where we have this, because it is the primary tourist season of Michigan. Middle of July is huge, so everything's more expensive, lodging's more expensive, all of the things. And one other thing, and this is a personal note, our last 2 conventions have been on my birthday weekend, and I'm really sick of having my birthday hanging out with all of this mess. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Stepp? Did your hand go down or did you unmute?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to speak against the motion. Not necessarily that we don't want to have it in April, but just a couple of things to put into perspective, and I want to kind of second what Mr. Bowman said. You know, it does take a lot of work to get all the candidates ready and all the affiliates ready, as other people have spoken to. The national convention doesn't require a lot of work for the affiliates, but we just had a convention. People are on spring break. All these different things are happening. They come back, and it's a quick turnaround for that April 25th date. With having to put the paperwork in the day after even this proposed date, potentially a Sunday would be better and closer to Lansing. My experience with being in the UP was awesome, but it was a lot of travel in a one weekend for everyone. And to get back to Lansing on Monday morning, it'd be nice to have some people close to Lansing in case they needed to fix paperwork or wanted to come and get selfies and such at the Secretary of State office, turning in their paperwork. I see a lot of candidates doing that outside of our party, and I think it's an awesome way to spread your name and show professionalism to your campaign. So if we're having it on a Saturday, less people are in, it's not in Lansing, or even closer. But also just voters. I mean, everyone's been talking about these Democrats and Republicans. They're talking about which Democrat or which Republican. They're not talking about who's in the race and who they prefer. So we're not really even part of that conversation until August anyways. So, I'm fine with the 25th, but I'd prefer the 26th if it was in April. But later in the year, I think is beneficial to the party. And running a long campaign between April and November is, taxing and expensive. It's the longer your campaign goes, the more it costs. And that's why Perry Johnson jumped in the race late here in the Republican side, because it's expensive. And people see that. The Democrats are jumping out because it's expensive and they still have till August to go. You saw Garland Gilchrist jump out of the race for governor because it's expensive and taxing. And so I think our candidates might have that same burnout. And we saw that with Mary Bazuma in 2022. Their campaign went really hard and awesome in September. And when they really needed the volunteers and fundraising in late October, everyone kind of fizzled out because it had been a hard couple of months.
All right. Thank you for that. Mr. Franklin.
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what several people have said, Trevor, Leah, Scotty. Let's think about when voters and yourselves are paying attention. I mean, we all here might be paying attention 24/7 to what's going on, but your neighbor isn't. And they aren't going to care who's running until within 30 days of when the election actually occurs. Okay, running early, getting nominated early will not do us any good. And as Trevor said, it will cause people to burn out, especially volunteers for a campaign if they're campaigning for 6 months. Like that's just not sustainable, especially with the financial resources that our candidates typically have. So really, when we're looking at it, the closer we can be to the actual major parties nominating times, the better for us, because it's going to allow us to save our energy, organize, be prepared. We can get our groundwork set up, but then we don't have to actually be out there on the ground doing all of that, right? So you just got to think about it. No one's paying attention on the primary, just a few. And then when the general, I mean, most people don't decide who they're voting for until the last couple weeks. Some people, it's really the last 24 to 48 hours. So it doesn't make sense logically to have a convention in April so close to when we've already had it. It makes a lot more sense to be much closer to the major parties because they do it that way for a certain reason, because that's when you're going to start getting attention. We're going to set ourselves up for, failure if we're going too early on this, I think.
Thank you. Mr. Wolf?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'd like to speak in favor of an April convention. Libertarians don't have much money, and then on the other hand, somebody's mentioning how much they spend, and so they're also mentioning volunteers. Many of the people that run in these campaigns have zero volunteers. I think a longer run time is better. The earlier, the better. Democrats and Republicans get tons of press in their primaries. They get multiple candidates who aren't even technically candidates yet because they haven't been chosen, in the news talking about issues. And I think we need to have our candidates, at least possibly alongside some of these guys. I took part in HBA, Home Builders Association forum, and there were 20 people on stage, all wanting to be the Democratic or Republican candidate for a number of seats. And I was the only libertarian there. But it's because I'm a perpetual candidate. I'm always campaigning. And I wasn't invited because they were only inviting people that were in a primary. And of course, libertarians don't have a primary. But I, heard about it and I got on stage and was heard. Lastly, many of our candidates don't even need to show up to a state convention to get on the ballot. I'm a state candidate for the House, 41st District, and I just need to be elected at a caucus at my affiliate. So really at the affiliate level anyway, as a compromise, if it wasn't going to be April, we should let all the affiliates know they can get their candidates, if they so choose, into the races early, regardless of any state convention. Of course, that might make the state convention crowd mad because less people will show up. But I think they should know about those options. Thanks.
Thank you for that. And I'll jump back over to Ms. Secretary.
I just wanted to address like the complexity. I purposely found like super easy options where we have a 1 day convention in Westland, which is very, very close for a lot of people. We set the agenda tonight, which is super simple. I handle the notice. There's no reason we cannot do email notices. It's in our bylaws that we can. We could do the 60 and the 30-day email notice before the 60 days. Then I would send 2 newsletters. The unaffiliated caucus is nothing. That's not like it's a huge thing to do. So my concerns, I wrote down what we need. We need to decide on a location. We need notice. We need AV. Angela said she's going to become a notary, I think, and we have Trevor. And I tried to set it up to make it a super easy thing, and I was trying to address the concerns that we have so much to do to get this going. We have a lot to do to get it going no matter what. And I'm going to be burned out if I have to go in July when I'm trying to go door to door. I got my voter list for my campaign already, and I've already made plans to start knocking on doors, and I do it by myself. And I don't have, I know nobody else is going to take this position from me in Elk Rapids, but still, I don't want to be spending it July when I should be knocking on doors, sitting at a convention. So that's it.
Thank you for that. Mr. Sheridan?
Yes. I think there's been a lot of things that are a lot of conjecture made. And I think we've heard from people that have been in this position and done the work that the consideration of an April convention will substantially disadvantage the party. Again, if we're looking at what is best for the party and what is best for liberty and finding the most candidates to get on the ballot. Mr. Stepp pointed out that in the last election cycle, the Libertarian Party of Michigan had more candidates on the ballot than any other state in the country, and we won more elections in that race than any um, season of elections in decades in the Libertarian Party of Michigan. The reason for those notable achievements under Mr. Stepp's leadership as political director last term is because that it takes a lot of work to prepare and to recruit candidates. We heard from other nominees who simply wanted to send emails out and collect feedback and pass that along. The dismissive attitude I've heard from many board members tonight, as far as arguing for this about how it's not a big challenge to do that, I think is very concerning, and I hope to see that change going forward because the results show that when that work goes in, we have better electoral outcomes. Um, Mr. Bowman earlier raised the point that the later convention allows us the advantage to capitalize on cases where there's not a opposing candidate in a given race to get into office. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. Johnson, who will speak after me, is currently an elected representative in his local government specifically because Mr. Stepp identified such a race where there was not an opposition, and he won by default simply by putting his name on the ballot and is now in public office with the opportunity to bring change in a libertarian direction in his local community. Furthermore, in my role on the national committee, I got to be part of discussions around the moving of the national convention earlier. And as everyone is probably aware, that got moved for the 2028 cycle from the current timeline in May, I believe, until February, just a couple months earlier. And one of the things that was brought forward is a lot of people wanted to do it the prior fall. And people who I generally am not politically aligned with, I think for this specific point, I believe it was raised either by Mr. Bill Redpath or Mr. Steve Dosbach, who are two people who have an immense amount of expertise on this matter, made the point that has been raised by others in this meeting already, that we don't want to go too early on these things because it takes resources to do it. Candidates need to spend money to be able to win races, barring extraordinary circumstances and extraordinary efforts. We want to be successful as a party. We have to create the conditions that will enable people to do that and not make it harder for them to do that. Furthermore, a lot of the concerns have been raised about cost of lodging and things like that. And yet there's been the proposal to hold it in a very convenient location located in proximity to the majority of where our members live and do it as a short, simple, sweet event in an area that will not have a lot of costs and will be very easy to find. One of the things we learned in the last couple of years is there's an abundance of small informal venues that have ready availability all the time for nothing more than a couple $100 a day if needed. So those options are there to deal with those other issues that have been brought up. And lastly, we have to make sure that we are factoring in, I think, the most important point of all of that, which is that our candidates' attention, people have worried about getting the attention and the fact that Democrats and Republicans are running in their primaries and getting attention, and that those are specifically the reason that libertarians don't get attention prior to those points because there is focus from the media on those major party races that are still being contested at that point when those parties don't have their candidates. Libertarians will not get media attention until those races start to settle down. And it is only in the absence of contention of those races when they start to look at third parties, when it becomes clear what the Democrat versus the Republican candidates are going to be as we get close to the primary. So that opportunity when we are approaching those primaries, which also brings the advantages that Mr. Bowman spoke of and provides the benefits that Mr. Stepp alluded to of having more time to prepare, is also allowing us to hold the event at the time when the media is most interested and attracted to the consideration of covering libertarians and hold our event as a potential fundraiser when they are interested in our business, and then launch our candidates' campaigns officially in that time when the media wants to do it so that they will be launching campaigns when the attention is turned at us. We've seen already that people can win races in greater numbers than we've achieved already with a late convention. And then lastly, the point about the challenges of running for an office before you're officially nominated. And it was mentioned that Republicans and Democrats are running in primaries. And if anyone is not already aware, they also are not nominated in those times. Our candidates should be encouraged to start running before they're nominated. We rarely have contested races at our conventions where we have more than one person. And if we do that, there is nothing better that could help the delegates of the convention to make an informed decision than to look at the amount of work a candidate has put in before they were nominated, because it demonstrates their commitment to the goal of running for office and not simply just the commitment to fill a spot on the ballot and be an empty placeholder, which lastly, for real, is a real problem that the party has received extensive complaints about in the past from people running for office and not having information available, not getting back to them at the time they are interested, which coincidentally is exactly the time period they'd be hitting burnout if we do our conventions in April. This is very unwise. It is not what's best for the party. And it would cram conventions into 3 conventions in a 4-month period, when after our early January convention, we could have those spread out to 6 or 7 months.
Thank you, Mr. Sheridan. I would like to bring up the membership. Technically, there is, I believe it's a 2-minute time limit for speaking. I do try and be laxed on that. But I would recommend moving forward if you could try and keep it within those limits. Having not having to.
Apologies for the overage.
It's all right. As long as nothing like that gets excessive over time, I will try not to have to enforce that upon anybody. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, first I'd like to make a point. And this is no insult to Trevor. I had no contact with Trevor whatsoever before my election. We in Washtenaw County.
That's not true, Larry. I came to your meeting.
I will like
showed
to
you
say
those offices.
Oh, were you at our nominating caucus? Anyways, that regardless, we know the process here, and we have a county that posts that stuff immediately and in a very easy to access format. There was no doubt about where the open slots were at. And as far as the timing goes, I believe it sounds like there's a lot of controversy over the date. I would propose to amend that we proceed forward with forming the committee, and that we can discuss the date at in a second motion later today, so that we can get some business done here.
I second that.
There's been an amendment moved and seconded.
Isn't my motion still on the floor?
It is, but there's been an amendment that has been moved.
So what's the amendment?
The amendment separates the forming of the committees and the date of the convention.
Okay.
So we would first debate on forming the committees and appointing them, and then the date would be at another motion. All right. Is there any discussion on that amendment, Ms. Carver?
No, mine was on the other shit.
All right. Mr. Bowman, is there any debate on that amendment?
I'd like to move to end debate and move to vote on the amendment, because I believe we've been debating it anyway.
I believe you were the last one, so we were going to proceed to a vote anyway here. All right. All in favor of the amendment to the motion, please say aye.
Can you restate it, please?
The amendment is to separate the date of the convention and the forming of the committees, so that now the motion would just be the forming and appointment of the committees in regard to the convention. All right. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions other than myself? That amendment has passed. So now we are essentially carrying on debate of the motion of forming the committees and appointing them. Is there any debate on that before we proceed to a vote? All right, hearing no debate, we can proceed. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Go ahead, discussion on new motion.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand, Mr. Chatterton. Yes, any thing you'd like to add on the motion now?
Just to clarify, I wasn't clear. So are we saying that we just will make a committee, or are we appointing members to the committee if we had nominations for that?
It is to form and then appoint members to the committee.
Have we advertised the availability of those opportunities outside the board?
I am not aware if the secretary has put that opportunity outside of this board yet.
In that case, if I could still use my floor time, I would propose that we amend the motion on the floor to adopt a motion that we will form a committee and then we put out a notification to the membership and vote on people to fill that committee at our next meeting, our next regular monthly meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, there's been a second and final amendment to the motion that has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that before we move forward?
I have a point of information.
Yes.
Are we amending a motion that's already passed?
Yeah,
The
it's
motion,
really,
we passed the First Amendment, and it is allowed a Second Amendment.
okay,
But
so
it's
I do
only
want
up
to,
to two amendments.
I do want to talk and I can't raise my hand, so.
All right, I'll allow you to talk, Ms. Secretary, and then we'll go over to Mr. Stepp.
I think we could form a committee and open it up and people could join the committee. I really think we need to get moving, even if we're gonna have it in July. But anyway. That's just my point.
Thank you. Mr. Stepp, did your hand go down or did you want to speak? I saw your hand up.
With the new motion on the floor, it's not relevant.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Daly?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's what we've been in the habit of doing is appointing a chair to the committee, and then the chair of the committee forms their committee. It's not something that the board needs to vote on the members of the committee.
I believe that is how we have been doing it. For all those that are unaware of that. That being said, if there's no other discussion on the Second Amendment, we can proceed to a vote. All in favor, actually, Ms. Secretary, do you have the Second Amendment on record you can read back?
That we will form to amend the motion, that we will put out a notification to the membership and vote on people to fill that committee at our next meeting.
Thank you. I see Ms. Carver, your hand went back up. Do you have discussion on this amendment?
I just wanted to clarify, that's not how we've done this. We appointed the committee and then they chose their own chair last time at convention committee just recently. That's how Trevor became convention committee. We appointed the committee members and then they chose the last time around just recently. And if we're going to try to do this quickly, we should just do the committee and then we can put out the notice, like people got a notice that we were doing this. And then people have always come and gone from, I've been on like a bunch of convention committees for like the last decade and a half. And yeah, people come and go from it all the time.
Thank you for that, Ms. Carver. All right, seeing no other debate, we can proceed to a vote. All in favor of the Second Amendment of this motion, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
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 We may have to do a quick roll call vote on that, Ms. Secretary.
Okay, Scott,
Aye.
Trevor,
Aye.
Andrew,
Yes.
I vote no. Dana,
Nay.
Jay,
Aye.
I didn't hear it. Was that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Tori,
Yes.
Raphael,
Oh, yeah. Nay.
Larry Henneman,
Yes.
Larry Johnson,
Yes.
Leah Daly,
Yes.
Angela Thornton,
No.
Charles Essner,
Yes.
Mike Saliba,
Abstain.
Dave Franklin,
Yes.
Andrew Chatterton,
Yes.
Colin Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Tim Teagan.
I abstain.
12 to 4 to 2.
All right. So now we are on the main motion now after the Second Amendment. I see Mr. Sheridan hand went up.
Oh, no, we're good. I thought that was the main motion already. But go ahead. I think you're correct.
All right. And if there's no debate, we can just proceed to a quick vote to accept that.
Point of
Or deny.
information, I'm kind of lost because I had to run out of the room. I don't know if it just passed or.
No, we adopted the amendment, but now we're going to vote whether we adopt the motion.
Well, the motion is the amendment. So the motion is now that we will wait till the next meeting to
Okay,
do
so the
anything.
motion is
Yeah,
moot. Okay,
it's
so
just
that makes the second motion moot then because we can't do it in time then, right?
essentially, if this passes, it would, yes.
Well, it already passed. So, I
Point
mean,
of
we're
The
order.
amendment passes, but we would have to still confirm it.
well, we're
It
voting
would
on the
take
exact
one
same
more. It
thing.
would take one more vote, and we're done.
Point of order.
Yes.
Talking, we could vote.
I believe the amended motion would result in the forming of the committee, but accepting volunteers to participate to be approved at the next meeting. So there still would be a formal formation of a committee tonight. It just would have vacancies to fill.
That's not what you voted for.
Yes, that essentially is that we would be forming the committee tonight and then appointing people at the next meeting. All
So
right.
it's a committee of, wait, okay, so a point of information again. So we now have a committee of no one?
Yeah, his motion said that. Anyway, we're voting on people to fill that committee. So we're putting out a notice.
Yes,
Voting
we'd
on
be
people
putting
at
out
our
a
next
notice.
meeting. So where does it say that we're voting tonight?
We are only voting right now. What we're voting on is to finalize this motion. It has gone through its amendments, so now we just have to completely shoot it down or accept it as the amendment.
So what is the actual motion then at this point?
If I can
Sorry.
clarify on the motion language.
Sure, Mr. Sheridan.
My intent was to basically put out a notification for the next meeting to solicit applications and hold a vote and fill the committee at that meeting, but generally to declare that we will be doing that this meeting. However, I think it's a fair interpretation as it was framed by others that the sloppy wording and hasty wording there would technically form a vacant committee tonight, and then we would fill members into that vacant committee at the next meeting. But I believe that's a distinction without a difference for it one way or the other. So I hope we can move on and vote on the main motion and proceed from there.
Yep. All right. Hearing no other discussion. So the vote going forward is just to accept the amendment we just voted on. And hopefully we can try and do this with a quick voice vote. All in favor of the motion on hand? please say aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Name.
Nay. I hear 6 nays. I believe the ayes do have it. Also, any abstentions? Other than myself? All right, the ayes have that. So we will put out notice and we will be appointing members to that committee at the next meeting. Mr. Sheridan, I see your hand up. Then Mr. Johnson.
I move to adjourn so we can all go watch anything that's left of the Super Bowl tonight.
Second.
Second.
All right, the motion to adjourn has been moved and seconded.
Is the
Any
motion to adjourn
discussion?
debatable?
What's that, Mr. Johnson?
Is the motion to adjourn debatable?
Yeah, we can debate it.
Well, I mean, under Robert's rules, is it debatable is what I'm basically
We didn't have open
asking.
floor yet.
I believe it is debatable. Because something to note still was Scotty's reimbursement issue. People wanted to keep that in
Right.
mind.
I wanted to get my reimbursement. It's $121.93.
I also have issued the motions that I would like to put on the floor, and I think we need to resolve the issue of a number of different things that are on this agenda that we haven't addressed yet. All of them need to be tabled pending the appointment of the committee, but they are still on our agenda. So I do believe we have a little bit of work here left to do.
All right.
Motion to adjourn is always in order and can be debated, but I do agree that Scotty should have the opportunity to have his reimbursement processed and whatnot to get his debt from the party.
All right.
I would,
Hearing.
could I make an amendment to my motion that we hold such a vote followed by an adjournment and a combined motion? That we do
Second.
both things.
So to combine his reimbursement and the tabling of the rest of the issue to next meeting?
Yes, please.
Or to parliamentary order, I do not believe that that type of amendment is in order under Robert's Rules of Order.
The body is free to vote on more than one motion, and they can choose to combine motions into one vote.
Point of order. Who the hell's running this meeting? Sorry, I just have to ask.
Mr. Teagan is doing an excellent job of it.
Okay, we're just. I would just like to see if we can vote on the adjournment real quick. If that doesn't pass, we can get through what we have to get through real quickly, and then we can adjourn after that. Hearing the debate on adjournment. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
There's
Aye.
a motion that was
Aye.
made to amend.
Seconded motion to amend.
Yes, but I believe it has been found out of order on Robert's rules. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the biggest on parliamentary on Roberts.
If a motion to adjourn is taken out of order of the agenda, then it's debatable, I believe.
Yes, it's debatable, but the combining of the motions.
Yes, that's allowed. You can make individual motions, and there's nothing that bars you from combining motions.
Point of information. Do we have a citing of the Robert's Rules of Fuckery on that?
Do you object that the body could make 2 consecutive votes to hold, to give Mr. Bowman his reimbursements and then adjourn? Because if that's the case, you can do so with 1 vote.
Well, that's not all that's left on the agenda. And where's the citation of the Robert's Rules number 1 clause?
Mr. Chair, I would ask as a point of order for
Yes.
anyone who objects to the business that has been conducted and seconded, that if they wish to object to combining the motions, that the burden should be to provide a citation from Roberts that says that's disallowed as opposed to the contrary.
All right, if we can
Point of
keep it
order.
orderly, if we can go through hands up, through further comment to begin with, I would appreciate that. Thank you for your input on that, Mr. Sheridan. Mr. Bowman, I see your hand up next before I continue.
Yeah, just a point of order. Was Mr. Chatterton's amendment to the adjournment seconded?
I heard several seconds.
Yes.
Believe so. And was it the amendment, just to clarify before I continue, to accept Scotty's reimbursement and to table the rest of the agenda, or was it just to
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
that was
so
your
let's table the
clarification, and I
rest.
confirmed.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would like to hear from the registered parliamentarian who is in attendance on whether or not this combining of amendments, especially in conjunction with a
I object to hearing from someone not on the board, and it's late in the evening. It's been a 2.5-hour meeting.
that person is on the board. I'm referring to Angela, who is a registered parliamentarian.
I apologize for speaking out of turn, but I am not a registered parliamentarian.
Oh my, I was mistaken. I am sorry. I withdraw.
All right, at this point, I will allow the amendment just to stop the back and forth. If this board wishes to table the rest of the agenda, reimburse Scotty and adjourn in this amendment, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
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 Division.
Yeah, can we get a quick roll call, Ms. Secretary?
Okay, so this is to vote to adjourn after approving Scotty, right? Scotty's
It's the amendment on the motion.
right. Scott,
Nay.
Trevor,
Believe it or not.
I adjourn.
Andrew Duke.
No.
I'm a no. Dana Carver,
No.
Jay Gillott,
No.
Tori Heinrich,
Yes.
Raphael Wolf,
No.
Larry Henneman,
Yes.
Larry Johnson,
No.
Leah Daly,
Yes.
Angela Thornton,
No.
Charles Essner,
No.
Mike Saliba,
No.
Dave Franklin,
Yes.
Andrew Chatterton,
Yes.
Colin Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Tim Teagan.
Abstain.
7 to 10 to 1. Motion fails.
All right, so now we are only voting on whether we adjourn or not unless there's any discussion. All right, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
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 No.
All right, I believe the nays do have it unless anyone wants to call division. All right, hearing no division called, we are not yet adjourned, so we will continue with business. All right, as far as convention, now that we have moved to appoint the committee and separate the date, is there anything we can continue on, or would we like to table this? It is
We
up to
have
you.
we have to table everything else. Nothing else is appropriate.
You would
I
have to
hope
have a-
somebody else is thinking about chairing that committee and being on that committee, because I have a serious campaign to run, so I won't be able to do it. We
All
don't
right.
have to discuss that tonight. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you for the legwork you have already put in on that, even though it did not happen tonight. Mr. Johnson.
I make a motion to table the remaining items under convention for the February meeting.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Perfect.
Second.
Or any debate on that?
He means March meeting?
March meeting. I'm sorry. Yes, I misspoke.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Be no April convention.
Is there any debate on that? I see
Point of
two hands.
information.
Yes.
What I just want to make sure everyone understands. I believe that if we do that, there will not be sufficient notice if people were to decide to have it on April 25th. Is that correct?
I believe you are correct in that regard.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to amend that. I think.
Amend the motion to table?
Can that be amended?
I don't.
Would you like to separate something from it?
I would like to still have the chance to have this convention in April as a congressional candidate, possibly. So I don't know how to do that with Robert's rules.
Unfortunately, I believe we don't make the notice threshold if we hold it at our next meeting and it's tabled.
But if we had a special meeting, which everyone loves so much,
At the same time, we wouldn't have the committee forum, but I think that might still be in order. Unless anyone can jump in to prove me wrong. Is there a date with sufficient notice you'd like to table to a special meeting that I could set up?
I think it's, can I say something? These venues are gonna be gone if I don't get to them this week, so I don't see how it could be done. I mean, somebody could start all over rushing and trying to get approval, but good luck with that.
well, I mean, as a person who's considering a congressional candidate run in an area that loves to have forums, and I could have a voice sooner than later.
Point of order. We've already had discussion of this topic
Shush
and
it.
decided.
I will. I think she's trying to formulate a motion, and we're working through that right here. Is there a motion? I mean, amendment to the motion that you can bring, Ms. Carver? That would, because I'm not so sure that there is a proper one for you here now at this point
I
in
don't
time.
think there is either. I would like the freaking convention in April, and I would like to not table this. So I'll just vote no and hope that people would maybe think that through for a minute. For those of us that might have bigger campaigns than others. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Ms. Carver. Mr. Chariton, I see your hand still up.
Yes, I would note that we've already decided to appoint the committee at the next meeting. Who should be doing that? As others have pointed out, people can volunteer and try to bring information to support the committee and bring those items to be put forward if elected. We're debating things that the body's already decided at this point by a large margin vote. I think it was 12-4. So I would call the question, and I would call all remaining questions.
All right. Does that have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of calling all remaining questions, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
Aye.
Nay.
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 Any abstentions other than myself? All right, the ayes do have it, so we will just speed run this. All in favor of tabling the rest of convention agenda to the next meeting, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
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 Any abstentions other than myself? All right, the ayes do have it. That will be on our next agenda. And then the last thing for the night that we had to address was Mr. Bowman's reimbursement. Could you state the price one last time for me, Mr. Bowman?
Yes, it was 100.
Floor. Point of information, we still have open floor.
That's where that's where we're at.
I believe he was the first one on the open floor.
Yep.
Point of information, Mr. Chair, the total is 121.93.
Thank you. All right, we will continue to open floor after Mr. Bowman, but I do know that was something that was brought up previously. That's why I'm jumping to that real fast.
Well, and if it's an open floor, then I suppose it's open for me to make that motion, right?
What is the amount? I'm sorry.
That I get 121.93 from the Libertarian Party of Michigan. That to itemize, that was $74.93 for 3 Statue of Liberty figurines, and that was $47 for the engraving of the plaques that were affixed to the the Statue of Liberty figurines.
Second.
All right. Is there any debate on reimbursement? Hearing none. All in favor of reimbursing Mr. Bowman for that, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions other than myself? We'll send out a reimbursement for you on that, Mr. Bowman.
Thank you.
We are back in open floor. Mr. Johnson, I see your hand has been up.
I have two motions I would like to make. The first, I believe I will just, should be fairly simple. I move that at future LEC meetings, the only individuals logging in who do not have their real name displayed should have the name of the Libertarian Party of Michigan account displayed, as yourself and Donna currently do. That's my motion, to basically get rid of anonymized visitors.
Would you allow the amendment? Sorry, I can't make that. Okay. That motion has been moved and seconded.
What is that? We at future LEC meetings, we only allow people who identify themselves.
By their given name, rather, except for those logged in under the Libertarian Party of Michigan.
Just so I understand your intent here, what if they give their real name vocally or in chat?
Yeah, I do think it's good that people identify themselves. It doesn't have to be, I don't necessarily think it has to be on the label, as long as they identify.
I just wanted to clarify your intent on that. So all members except for those with the screen, such as mine, identify themselves in future meetings. That is the motion that's been moved and seconded. Any debate on that? Is your chair, didn't I see your hand up, or is that for something else next?
I raised to be recognized after Mr. Johnson finishes his motions.
All right, I will keep that in mind. Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, I think as long as the person is not causing any issues, that we don't necessarily need to know who they are, and we can respect non-board member guests' anonymity and their privacy.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Wolf. Mr. Franklin?
Yeah, for once, I agree with Mr. Wolf, 100%.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. Carver?
As a libertarian, I just kind of really feel that we shouldn't worry about that as long as they're not making any problems. I don't see a problem with C-Squirt since he's the only one that hasn't named themselves. He hasn't caused any problems. He's just been hanging out. This is an open meeting. It's public. Sorry, Larry, but I just don't get it.
Mr. Johnson?
If the chair and my seconder would allow, I would withdraw the motion.
I'll allow it if the person who seconds it allows it.
I don't think I got a second.
Then we'll just revoke the motion on your behalf. Thank you for that, Mr. Johnson. You said you had a second motion. There was a two-parter.
Yes, I wish to make a motion that we notify Mr. Franklin of our intent to place on the agenda at our next regular monthly meeting a removal of him for the board for cause. I think we all know the cause, and that is my motion.
Second.
We all know the cause.
It is a little vague to leave it at cause. Could you have some kind of title to put on that by any chance?
Failure of fiduciary duty.
All right, we at least have a title on that. That motion is, and it's just to give notice that it will be considered.
Well, there was some discussion on various channels that notifying, and I think the minimum that's been posted in the past for removal of a board member is 2 weeks. But since our next regular meeting is in March, that would be the time that we would be able to have that on the agenda and still give him some degree of notice.
All right. I will say that this is just for notice. This is not the debate for the thing at hand. So everyone, if we can just not drag this out and have that debate at our next meeting, I'd appreciate it. Mr. Stepp, I see your hand up next.
You might want to unmute yourself.
I guess I'm out of the loop here. What is this fiduciary duty for Mr. Franklin? Sorry.
Let me look it up. Yes, I'm not sure which social media platform this was posted on. People are not blank slates. Cultures are not all equal due to where they were raised. Some people are actually lesser than. Damn it, it's going off my screen. Basically, commenting that some people are lesser than others, which is a racially biased statement that was made in a somewhat public forum. We recently removed a membership of a person for similar public statements. And fiduciary duties do extend beyond actual money to damage done to the party's reputation.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I would like to also remind everyone this is just for notice. The debate can be held at the next meeting.
Is this a motion then, or is this just no?
Notice, and just to give notice that this
Okay.
debated at the next meeting.
It is a motion to place it on the next agenda, basically.
Okay.
All right. If there's no other debate, we can just go to a quick vote on that. All in favor of putting this on the next agenda as notice, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
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 Division.
Yeah, that's division. Ms. Secretary, could you do a quick roll call vote on us?
Sure.
Can I just do a point of order?
Yes.
You've said it many times. This is for notice. And it doesn't need a motion to be on the
No,
agenda.
it doesn't. Anybody can
it'll
add
be on the
anything
agenda
to the
next
agenda.
time.
Thank you.
I believe it was presented as a motion, so this would be the proper way to handle it from this form because it was presented as a motion. I could be wrong, but that would be my interpretation. Ms. Thorne, I see your hand has gone up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with what the other speakers were saying. In your position, you can just rule that the motion is out of order and we are simply going to put this on the agenda because it's not, we're not debating anything. It's not, no other items on the agenda get debated by the board before they go on the agenda. And this should be no different.
All right, I'll consider that. I'll let Mr. Johnson speak before I give any ruling on that.
I do agree with Angela's interpretation of this.
All right. Then I will rule that the original motion was out of order. We'll debate on this at the next meeting, and we will come to our conclusion there. All right, moving on from that, Mr. Chariton has had his hand up patiently. What do you have, sir?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion to adjourn has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay.
Shit.
Any abstentions other than myself?
Nay.
You are a nay. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your patience tonight. It was a little bit of a longer meeting, and hopefully we can have a little bit of a speedier one next time.
Thank you, everybody.